We've been talking to Marvel on and off for the past 5 years about making a fighting game with them and figuring out how we could make this work. And I think it was about 2.5 years ago, we finally got serious, and it was an opportunity to work with a group license, so license that involved multiple Marvel characters fighting against some characters that we would co-develop. And we really felt like there was a missing hole in the genre, that there hasn't really been a fighting game with superheroes that really reflected superhero abilities and powers. Yeah, this is a fully 3D fighting experience. It is not a 2D fighting game where the characters are locked nose to nose. So you can jump, fly, swing, sort of do everything you'd expect you can do with the fighting game, and it's sort of inspired by Power Stone, War of the Monsters, Super Smash Brothers. So we really did go for a different type of fight mechanic than what your classic fighting games like Street Fighter and Virtua Fighter. The game features comic realism. It is a superhero. It is an epic superhero simulation. So this is a whole bunch of really great Marvel characters, some really cool new characters that we've created in epic battles in large interactive environments. This is sort of a superhero fighting experience you've never seen before. One of the questions we often get asked is, why did you want to create some new characters? Why didn't you just use only Marvel characters? And we really wanted to, take these superheroes and make them relevant in the 21st century. And a lot of the Marvel characters that are in the game were created in the 60s with Stan Lee, with the X-Men and Spider-Man. And we really wanted to create a set of characters that were relevant to today's culture and today's mores. So we pitched it to Marvel and said, hey, here's, let's do Marvel against a new set of family that we build together. And they really liked the idea. It gave us a big advantage because we could not only build characters that were ripe for fiction, so for stories in a comic book, but were really good interactively. We didn't have to worry about powers that were harder to pull off in a game, sort of like telekinesis or invisibility, are really hard in a video game to make work. So we were able to sort of address both media side in creation of these characters. So it's kind of a convergence of what's happening with film, television, games, and comic books is, why only release them in one medium? Why not come out and try and hit on multiple platforms? So we're coming out with a comic book series where these characters are introduced, and sort of the whole game premise is set up in a 6-issue comic book before the game releases. We really wanted to start with a carte blanche when it came to which story paths, which version of the Marvel characters we wanted to take, and sort of start fresh. So with Wolverine, Iron Man, and Spider-Man, these are sort of, the comic books and the game are sort of taking them off from the year 2005 and sort of starting anew. But we're really inspired by what both the films have done and what the Ultimate series have done, which is going for sort of a more contemporary feel to these characters, sort of darker, tougher, meaner. I think when we started the game, we really didn't want you to master one or two characters. The problem with some of the classic fighting systems is they're built out of 10 years of developing a game. So you're really drilling down deep and you're really mastering a fight mechanic for a specific character. So there's, you're remembering about 1,200 button combinations to really truly master one of these individual characters. So we really wanted to enjoy all of the superheroes. We didn't want it to be a game where all the characters were on an even playing field. We really wanted it to be reflective of how the character's true abilities. So, when you fight Wolverine against Iron Man kind of has an advantage. He has repulsor rays, he has beams, he's a better long-distance character, where Wolverine has an advantage up close because he's got the adamantium claws. So we wanted a controller scheme where once you learned it, you could apply it to other characters without completely having to relearn the fight mechanic system, but you do have to relearn how the rock, paper, scissors work. What are the hazards for that character and what's beneficial for that character? So in an electrical field, for most characters that's damaging, it does damage. For Johnny Ohm, it actually charges him up. So every character you play has a different sort of tactical approach to how you approach fighting him in the level, but the control mechanism pretty much stays the same. Spider-Man has the ability to swing and recover from ring out. So if you're talking about the Daily Bugle, you're talking about a ring out level where you're at the top of this building and you can throw people off the edge of the building and cause a ring out. So Spider-Man is able to recover from that by swinging. He's also able to wall crawl. He can pick up objects from a distance. So one advantage he has over Iron Man is he doesn't have to go up next to an HVAC unit at the top of the building and pick it up. He can actually use his webbing, pick it up from 20 feet away, pull it back to his hands, and then throw it at the character, whereas Iron Man, he has to get close to an object. Iron Man has repulsor rays, And he's also got missiles. So when he's flying in the air, he's got heat-seeking missiles, so he has some advantages in the game as well. So it's a very different tactical approach to how you play those two characters. So if I was playing Spider-Man, I'd be looking to take advantage of a lot of the environmental objects and webbing them and trying to throw Iron Man from a distance. And I'd probably keep my distance so I have time to dodge his attacks. And if I was Iron Man, I'd try to get out of Spider-Man's way, maybe go up in the air and snipe as much as I can. Most fighting games tune so that each character adds up to 10. So if it's a slightly slower character, he does more damage with his punches. If it's a faster character, he does less damage with his punches. So the matchups between the characters are, a little more subtle in terms of how the different characters match up. But in this game, it's an utterly different experience when you're fighting with a Class 1, a very weak character, against a Class 3, a very strong character. So a lot of the fun is the fact that the game really changes on how you mix up with your character selection. And then the other part, we sort of jokingly refer on the team a lot, that the environment is a third character in the game. It really does provide a unique departure from where fighting games have gone before, because they are part of the fight mechanic. These environments are fully interactive. You can blow the crap out of them.